So here's the thing. I know I just uploaded a video counting my entire TBR and it was a disgusting amount. And I said I was not going to browse for books and I was just going to buy books that I've been anticipating the release of. And I had an appointment near Barnes and I decided to check in to see if they put out the book that was not supposed to be published till next week because they said they had it in stock, and they had it, and they also had another book that wasn't supposed to come out yet. And then I kind of blacked out and I bought 11 books. So let's just jump right in and go through all the books I bought that I probably shouldn't have bought considering my entirely large physical TBR. So the first and most important book of this video, it was the reason I made this trip, this beautiful, gorgeous artwork of a book. This is Crescent City. It is the first book in the series, and this new cover is supposed to be released this upcoming Tuesday, and I have been eyeing it since they released the cover. This is the most beautiful cover I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't wait to buy the blue one when it comes out this Tuesday. The only reason they didn't have it out in the store was because the publisher gave them permission to release this one early in the store, not House of Sky and Breath, because the paperback technically hasn't been released at all yet, so they can't release the Barnes & Noble exclusive paperback without all the paperbacks being out. The next book that I was super excited, and I was honestly kind of shocked to see that it was not only out in store, but it was in the buy one get one 50% off area, is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. It is the second book in the Maple Hills series. The first one was Icebreaker. I loved Icebreaker, and I'm so excited to see Russ's story in this book. For those of you who don't know, this book is about Russ and Aurora. They meet at a college party, they end up having a one-night stand, then over the summer they go to their summer jobs, both working as camp counselors, and dun dun dun, they work together, and it's a forced proximity, one-night stand, all that kind of stuff, and I'm really excited to read it. It also showed in Icebreaker that Russ kind of had like a dark past, so he gives me kind of like Asriel vibes. Obviously not like Asriel exactly, but just the whole quiet, brooding guy kind of thing. That's what vibe he gives me. The next book I got that I've been seeing all booktubers talking about is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This book, first off, is beautiful. Although, I won't lie, I do like the UK covers more, especially of Foxglove, because I saw Rachel Catherine's cover for that book, and I think it's being released in the US. I think I saw that on Barnes & Noble. It was available for pre-order, but it's so pretty. And this book sounds really interesting, like all her guardians end up meeting an untimely end, and then things happen and she ends up meeting up with Death himself, and they have like some kind of bond, and I don't know. I don't know a lot about it, but it looks beautiful, it sounds amazing, and I am really looking forward to reading it. Okay, there is a TikToker I follow. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but she is very into fantasy. She's where I got the Jade War recommendation. I love her recommendations, and I love how involved she is in her books because I get the same way. But I saw her raving practically about the Game of Thrones series, and I thought that would be interesting to dive into it because I never watched the show. I never watched either shows, House of Dragon or Game of Thrones. I tried to watch House of Dragon because my husband wanted to watch it, and I couldn't watch past the first episode because it was so graphic. So I think being in book form, it will be a little bit better, but I figured I should read chronologically. If I'm wrong, tell me. But I bought Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. This is the book that inspired House of Dragon, so it's like the prequel to Game of Thrones, and you get all the backstory of the Hightowers, the Targaryens, all that kind of stuff, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. And it has these beautiful, let me find a good one. It has these beautiful drawings inside the book, and I thought that was really, really cool. But I'm really excited to read this, and hopefully it lives up to the hype. I have nothing to compare it to, so I feel like it should be pretty good. Okay. If you've watched my previous videos, you'd know I'm trying to get more into classics, and I saw this table that had classic books in probably the most beautiful covers I've ever seen in my entire life. And I didn't want to just get books that I already have, just buy more copies of them. I really, really wanted to get the big binded version of the Grimm's Fairy Tales, but I ended up getting The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. If you aren't too familiar with F. Scott Fitzgerald, he is the author of The Great Gatsby, which I read in high school, and I loved that book. Like, it was probably the only book I actually read in high school because I did not like reading in high school at all. But I really enjoyed The Great Gatsby, and this book is kind of similar. It's based in the 20s. It's about, I don't know his name. It's about this 25-year-old named Anthony, and he doesn't really have much ambition. He just likes spending money because he is the sole heir to his grandfather's fortune, and he ends up meeting this girl who basically is along the same line. She will end up inheriting everything. At least that's what I gained from this description. And they end up getting engaged to each other, and with that happening, that begins the downward spiral of their lives because they're overspending their fortunes and squandering their assets and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, the title makes sense. It's The Beautiful and the Damned. But literally, look at the cover. Like, it's astoundingly beautiful, and all the other ones were like this too, with these beautiful illustrations. I was half tempted to buy them all, but obviously I couldn't do that. The next book I got, I kind of went a little crazy in the YA section just because I'm really getting into YA, and I'm just really enjoying YA. Not right now, because I'm currently trying to binge Sarah J. Maas's books before the upcoming Crescent City release in January. But I got Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I have heard so many mixed things about these books. I'm really nervous about it, but having said that, I'm really, really intrigued by the concept of the book. So this book is about Amelia. She ends up finding her twin sister dead, and she sets out to find out who killed her sister. And along this path, she meets Wrath, who is one of the princes of hell, and I am so excited. This reminds me a lot of Once Upon a Broken Heart, just by the vague premise of it. I'm sure it's going to be completely different, but that's just what it strikes in my mind when I read the back. But I'm really excited, and I really, really hope this series doesn't have as much of a downfall as everyone seems to say, because everyone seems to say that this is the best book and it just gets worse and worse. But I'll see. The next book I got, another one people seem to be talking about a lot, You Again, by Kate Goldbeck. So it seems like this is an enemies to friends to lovers. So on the back it's talking about how Ari and Josh first meet and they literally hate each other. It turns out that they're sleeping with the same woman, and then they end up intersecting years and years later and they actually form friendship and things just kind of go along from there. I think it sounds really good, and it seems like the perfect quick fall romance. The next book I was seduced by the painted edges. What can I say? But this book, okay, is it just me or are the exclusive stickers, the Barnes & Noble exclusive stickers, are they getting harder to peel off? Because I struggled for a while to get the one off of Crescent City earlier today, and I still don't fully have the residue off of that, and I have to, or else I will go crazy. But like, they're sticking on there. Anywho, I bought Crave by Tracy Wolff. This is the first book in the Crave series. It is a vampire series, and I don't know how else to say it. The painted edges really got me. I can't turn it down. I was actually really hoping to find the painted edge version of Belladonna. I didn't, but I was still happy to find the book. Anywho, so it seems like there's this girl, she goes into an academy that has different factions. She doesn't really know which one she belongs in, except for the fact that they all seem to not like her. Then there's this vampire, seems to be calling to her. I don't know. It sounds good. It sounds like a very good YA vampire romance. But I'm sure, I don't know. I also really like the whole dark academia aspect of it, because Twilight is a YA vampire romance, but it's not as it's not as fantasy as I would have liked for it to be. It was just that, oh, they're vampires. But I don't know. Hopefully this is really good. I've heard some mixed opinions about this as well. I won't even lie, I have no idea what this book is about. It is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Bouley. It doesn't, like, I've heard a lot of things about this book. I've seen the cover everywhere. I tried to find the description, if I get any credit for that, but literally all it says on the back is, when tragedy strikes in your own home, when death and deception are around every corner, how far are you willing to go to fix what's broken? Which could quite literally describe, if I had to guess, 60% of fantasy novels. Anywho, I sometimes think it's good to go into books blind, so I'm not even gonna look at what this is about. I'm just gonna show you the cover, and you can look into it if you're intrigued by it. The next book, I didn't think this book was out yet. I'm actually gonna check. Oh, okay. This book came out earlier this month. I didn't think it was supposed to come out until like November, if I'm being honest. So it looks like this book is about a pair of friends, Charlie and Sage. Charlie and Sage have been best friends for a long time. Everyone in their life seems to think that they will end up falling in love, or that they've been in love for years and they're going to figure it out one day. However, Charlie seems to have a romance with another boy, Luke, and Sage seems to be having something with Charlie's twin brother. And they're both questioning themselves and their relationships and using their friendship to help each other solve everything going on. I think this sounds really good. It sounds like a really good YA romance. It sounds perfect for fall, perfect as a little palate cleanser in between fantasy books for me, and I'm really glad I got this. I actually didn't even read the description when I got this. I just saw that it was by K.L. Walker, and I love her books. But I am very excited to read it. The last and final book of this video is Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. So this sounds really good. This is about Hani. It's Jani. I don't know if it's Johnny or Hani, but her and her younger sister Zasa, they're kind of bored with their lives, and so they decide to apply to work for the Hotel Magnifique. This hotel is very special in that every morning you wake up in a new place. So the hotel travels at night and you end up in a new place in the world by morning. And it sounds really, really good until when they finally get hired to work there, they learn that their contracts are actually unbreakable. And so Hani starts working with the handsome doorman, Belle, in order to figure out how to break their contracts and the curse and the evil secrets behind the hotel. And I think it sounds really, really good. I don't know, I'm just really, really liking YA right now. At least it's appealing to me more than it used to. But those are all the 11 books I bought today. Hey y'all, it is editing Shannon in here just to add 3 more books I got. It's literally the Tuesday after I filmed this video, so it's literally only been like 4 or 5 days. But I got 3 more books today because it's book release Tuesday. And if you saw me say earlier that they hadn't put out House of Sky and Breath paperback, Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, I definitely said that I was going back to get it, and I did. It just looks so good. It looks phenomenal, and I'm so happy that I was able to get it. I will be adding it to my TBR because in my next reading vlog that's going up, you're going to see me start to get back into the Sarah J. Maas universe, and I want to read them all. And so I'm really excited to finally get to this series in like maybe 2 months, I'd say, because of all the books I still have to read in the Throne of Glass series. I got 2 more books today because this was actually in the buy one get one 50% off section. So I had to get a second one. But I also got Block Shot by Kennedy Ryan, which is the second book. I don't know what the series is called. Oh, it's called the Hoops series. It's a basketball romance kind of series. I honestly don't know what this one's about. I just know it's the second in the series. And Hookshot, I believe, is getting released in October. I'm definitely going to get that when it's released as well, just because I never liked the original covers because they had like a shirtless picture of a guy on the cover, and I don't like picture covers. First off, I prefer when it's artwork, and then I don't like having a shirtless man on the cover. Like, they always give me the ick. They make it feel cringe, and I just would much prefer this than to a close-up of a guy being shirtless. That's just my opinion. This one, so this is a romance between Jared and Banner, and it seems like Banner is a women's basketball player. I could be wrong in assuming that it's basketball, but she is in the sports area of profession, and he is a sports agent. It seems like it's a second chance romance, and Jared can't take no for an answer. Like, he thinks about this girl all the time. So it's definitely guy falls first, which you know I love. The hell? This page is completely ripped. That sucks. And like, you can't even tell anything is wrong on the side, so I didn't think to look. But it sounds like it'll be a really good book, and I really want to get into the Hoop series. The last book I got, and the last book that will be in this book haul that has expanded to being 2 separate days, less than a week apart, because I have no self-restraint, is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the 4th book in the Hunger Games series. This book is not with the rest of the series. This is actually a prequel. So this is actually like the start of the Hunger Games, basically, and it's set to be at the 10th Hunger Games ever. So when we get to the Hunger Games trilogy, I believe it's the 74th Hunger Games is the first book, but this is the 10th, and we actually get Snow's backstory, basically his villain story, his origin story. I'm really looking forward to reading it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie when it comes out in November. I think it looks so good, and I have to read the book before the movie comes out, so I definitely will. But it looks like Snow, is given the responsibility of mentoring the female tribute from District 12. And things just kind of happen from there, and I'm really excited. But thank you so much for watching if you got this far. I honestly don't know how many books I got. I think it was 14, including these 3 books. And I really need to stop buying books that I'm not heavily anticipating, because that was the promise I made myself. If you watched my Counting My Physical TBR video, I promised myself I would only buy books if I was heavily anticipating the release. And I already have so many books I'm heavily anticipating. I think I have 5 in October, and then there are even more in November and December. So, still going to be buying plenty of books, but just ones that I'm actually really, really excited for the release of and have been anticipating and wanting to buy it for a long time. It just hasn't been out. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more book content. If you'd like to be notified right when I post a new video, just make sure to turn on the bell icon. I hope you are having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!